Hey friends, what's up? How's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gents. Today I want to do a quick review for you guys, the new Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum Intense. I did first impressions on this one a little while back on the main channel, so if you want to check that out and see what I thought when I first got it in, feel free to watch that video if you haven't. But it's been a while since then, a good amount of time, and I've been able to give it some more wears, and now I want to do kind of a quick recap and let you know what I think about the fragrance now. So let's jump into it. Let's check out the presentation and break down why Eau de Parfum Intense. Got this one linked in the description below, guys. Feel free to check it out down there. This one actually surprisingly showed up super quick at discounters. I think it was at Joma Shop like all of a week after the stuff came out. Don't know exactly how that went down, but more power to Joma Shop, I guess? I don't know. Let's check out the presentation first, and then we'll hop into the scent. So here we got the box. You got the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size, and concentration right there on the front. Eau de Parfum Intense, this one is. It says YSL on top of the box. On one side of the box, you have the YSL website. On the back, you have your ingredients. And then on the bottom, your batch code. My batch code is 38W0019. And here we have the bottle. So again, your typical YSL Y bottle style. This one with a consistent blue color all the way through. So you have the YSL name and the Y logo on the side of the bottle, part of this little metal plaque. YSL logo on top of the cap. You have a sticker with the batch code on the bottom, and the cap does click into place. Imagine that. Let's go ahead and share a couple sprays here so you can see the atomizer in action. Really good. So Y EDP Intense. So I guess the first thing that I would say about Y Eau de Parfum Intense is that the name itself, the naming convention, maybe doesn't make a ton of sense at the end of the day, because this is Y Eau de Parfum, right? Everybody knows Y Eau de Parfum, one of the most popular designers out right now. Give that a couple sprays for science, but everybody knows Y Eau de Parfum. So you have a new fragrance that comes out called Y Eau de Parfum Intense. And if we use our brain through the power of mathematics, science, and astronomy, I don't know why astronomy would, you would think that Y Eau de Parfum Intense would be a more intense version of Y Eau de Parfum. That's right. Is that what it is? No, it's not at all. It doesn't make any sense. Y Eau de Parfum Intense is not an intense version of Y Eau de Parfum. Flankers. It's one of those deals where you got to come up with a name for your flanker, and sometimes I guess you just roll with whatever pops into your mind first, even if it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Now, that is not to say that Y Eau de Parfum Intense smells nothing like Y Eau de Parfum. I mean, obviously, when you spray this on, when you smell it, you can tell, yeah, that's a Y fragrance, but there are a lot of differences between this and Y EDP. Probably the biggest difference, the thing that most people caught on to pretty much right away, is the lack of apple in Y Eau de Parfum Intense. Because the apple in Y Eau de Parfum is one of the main selling points. It's one of the things that captures your attention when you first spray that fragrance on. You know, it's very sweet, but then also fresh, and it gives it an interesting twist compared to most of the other big blue fragrances out there. So that apple really is one of the things that makes Y EDP Y EDP, and it is not here in Eau de Parfum Intense. Actually, there's not really a huge blast of fruit here in general. Now, there's bergamot in Y Eau de Parfum Intense, but it's not really the focal point. Instead, you get a fresh, spicy pop off the top. You get ginger and you get juniper. And while Y Eau de Parfum Intense does have sweetness, it's not even close to the type of sweetness you're gonna find in Y EDP. This one, much sweeter, much more aggressive, much more maybe attention grabbing, you would say, off the top compared to EDP Intense. Bang my fragrance on the table, so unprofessional. So Y Eau de Parfum Intense, while it has a bit of sweetness off the top, it's not as much as Y EDP. It's more aromatic. It's actually got more of a green edge to it, especially in the opening compared to Y EDP. And then the sage comes out, and there is sage in Y Eau de Parfum as well, but the way it comes across in Y Eau de Parfum Intense, again, is going to be more mature, a little bit more grown up, not quite as playful, not quite as youthful, again, not as sweet. And it's like you can pick up hints almost of light earthiness in Y Eau de Parfum Intense, which you absolutely can't in Y Eau de Parfum. As Y Eau de Parfum Intense heads further into the dry down, you're going to pick up more woodiness there coming through from vetiver, whereas Y Eau de Parfum concentrates more on amber woods, which is going to give it that, some people would say, almost ambroxany feel with more of a warm, sweet overtone to it. And really, the juniper for me sticks around quite a while in Y EDP Intense and does become one of the focal points of the fragrance. Maybe it's not initially because that ginger is giving you a nice zestiness off the top, but as it dries, that juniper mixes together with the sage, the geranium, and the lavender. So it is both fresh, a little bit soapy, slightly green, aromatic, a touch earthy, and woody. It maintains that versatility that you would expect a Y fragrance to have, but it is going to be one that is more easily dressed up than Y Eau de Parfum, something that would fit in a little bit better in more formal situations. Got a really nice compliment factor to it, which you would expect. The versatility is there as well. For me, it's going to be more like a spring fall kind of fragrance, you know, neutral weather, but you can pull it off during the winter, you can pull it off during the summer. Just as I always say with Y Eau de Parfum, adjust those sprays as necessary. Maybe in the middle of summer, you don't need quite as much as you might in the middle of winter. As far as daytime or nighttime use, either one, really. As I said, you can dress this one up a little bit better, wear it in formal situations a little better than Y Eau de Parfum. So maybe with that in mind, you might think it leans a little more toward evening use, but I think either one. It's not going to be as potentially cloying as Y Eau de Parfum, and that is going to be because of that sweetness having been reined in a bit. But that doesn't mean that the performance suffers, because Y Eau de Parfum is known as a big performing fragrance. Y Eau de Parfum Intense, also off my skin, very good. It lasts a really long time, so 8+ hours off my skin easily. Spray it on clothes, gonna be there forever. And in terms of projection, it's very strong initially. Like in the opening and the first part of the mid, it pushes, it projects hard, it gets people's attention. Once it settles into the dry down, it still projects well, but not as strongly. I would say between this and Y Eau de Parfum that actually Y Eau de Parfum projects a little bit more off my skin than Y Eau de Parfum Intense does, even though this one is, again, supposed to be the intense Y Eau de Parfum, so you would think it would push further because intense. But it's above average in terms of performance, so I'm not going to complain. I will tell you that even though I liked Y Eau de Parfum Intense in my first impression, I thought it was good, I like it more now. This is that type of fragrance, kind of like Y Le Parfum, I feel like, that just grows on you more the more that you wear it. It becomes a little more interesting. It smells a little more high class than when I first tried it. So it's kind of become like my my howdy towdy version of Y, if you want to call it that. This is like my top hat wearing version of Y. Throw a monocle on, get yourself a walking cane. And I think it's gonna be like that for a lot of people. I think for a lot of people, Y Eau de Parfum Intense is gonna be one that they come around to more and more as time goes. One of those deals where you try it initially and you're like, oh, it's fine, it's whatever. You know, there's so many other fragrances out there, so many other Y fragrances out there, who even cares about this? And then you wear it again and you're like, oh, actually pretty nice, it's not too bad. Skip forward a number of months and suddenly it's got a great place in your collection, but this one is for me. So on the whole, Y Eau de Parfum Intense, I like it more today than when I first tried it out. Lovely scent for somebody looking for something classy, but still wanting to deliver that compliment factor, that mass appeal. And that's not to say that a lot of classy fragrances don't have that, because they do, but this one is still at the end of the day a Y, and we all know what those are about. So if you're looking for something like that, check this one out. I also think it would be a great choice for a fragrance that has a nice sophisticated touch to it, but would still work for a younger guy. Because a lot of times fragrances that are, again, a little more grown up, mature, sophisticated, elegant, whatever you want to call it, those don't work quite as well for guys who are, say, teens or in their early 20s or something. They may feel that it's a little bit too woody or too dated, too classic smelling, whatever. This will work for people that are looking for something that can do those things, but still has like a little youthful edge to it. Because even though it smells more grown up than Y Eau de Parfum, that doesn't mean it smells like fully grown up, right? And really, it's just gonna work for anybody who is, again, looking for something that does have that compliment factor in a fragrance with a little more maturity to it. So there we go, Y Eau de Parfum Intense. Solid release in the Y line. And I really enjoy Y Le Parfum a bunch, but I would say Y Eau de Parfum Intense is maybe a little more different than Y Eau de Parfum is, while accomplishing what Y Le Parfum does. Because Y Le Parfum is also like a more grown-up version of Y EDP, but it's a lot closer to how Y EDP smells. So Eau de Parfum Intense is a little bit different, so it's going to give you something a little different, but you would use it the same times you would use Y Le Parfum. So in that way, it becomes a little more interesting. All right, that'll do it for me. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I will see you again another day with another video. See you later.